We will go on to the loan issue now. I know many people are itching to hear about the loan. So we are going straight into that, and I'm going to be sharing my screen. Okay, so international student loan opportunities, that's what we are discussing, and I think what I've tried to do to make this easy for all of us is to make it like a question and answer thing. Because in the course of registration, a number of questions were asked, and I also tried to figure out what kind of questions are in people's mind as far as this loan is concerned. And that's what I'm going to try to do. So rather than just talking about loans, like giving a lecture, no, I'm going to address what we're here for directly and try to answer your questions. And if after my presentation you still have questions, then you will have the opportunity to ask your questions. So why student loan will be the first thing that I'm going to talk about. And you know the cost of international education. You know that today, if you can afford it, many of the people that are here on the call will be out of where they are. They will be abroad studying. But the cost has been a major challenge for many people. And so many families can't support their own people, even though they desire to. Then the many benefits of international education is something that we cannot overlook. And that's the reason why many people would love to go out to study. Now, there are different types of student loans. We have those that are fixed interest, which means over the lifetime of the loan, the interest does not change. That is, if you took a loan at 10% interest and you're going to pay back in 10 years' time, it will still be that 10% interest. Now, there are those that are variable interest, which means if you take it at 10%, if things change globally in the financial world, the value of your interest will also change. So it can go up and it can go down. Then we have loans that require you to present a collateral or a cosigner, and there are those that don't require you to produce any. A collateral will mean something like a property that the loan giver can take from you as surety that you're going to pay back. And if you don't pay back, then that can be sold to recover their money. And then that means the value of your collateral has to be substantial enough to cover the loan that you are being given. A cosigner is someone who is standing surety for you, saying, if this person doesn't pay back, I am going to pay. And then you have the no collateral, no cosigner loan type, where it's just free. You don't need to present anything. They just give you the loan on the basis of certain other conditions. So which type of loan is ideal? I would say there is no hard and fast no answer to that, no rule to that, because there is none that is risk-free. For example, if you take a fixed interest loan, interest may go up or it may go down. If it goes up, your fixed interest is an opportunity for you, because then your interest is fixed. But if interest go down, so you have taken this loan at 10% and interest goes down to like 7%, you are still going to pay at 10% because that's what you signed for and it's fixed. And then cosigners are hard to find. Even for you, you don't want to stand surety or sign on for anybody who is taking some huge loan and saying, oh, I'm going to pay. Maybe only a parent can do that, or a sibling. Maybe they are the only ones who can do that for you, or some very wonderful friends who knows that you will not run away. But the point is, what is the worth of this person for them to qualify to sign for you? Collaterals require huge investment, which many people don't have anyway. And loan is always a burden on someone. That's one thing that you have to know. It is either a burden on you or a burden on the person that is signing surety for you. So there is no way of answering that question to say one is the one that is ideal. Loans are always high in risk. So it's a risk that you take for the sake of your own future. But there are a few things that I feel you should know and note about loans. One is that service providers are into business. They are not your friends. They are doing business. And that means they want to make profit from the loan that they are giving you. You should note that loan payback is not easy. You should review the loan terms very thoroughly before you sign, because the moment you sign, it's binding. The shorter the term, the less you pay, meaning you may have the opportunity of paying this loan for 10 years. But if you are able to pay it for 5 years, then the better for you. You will understand that a little bit later on. And then the shorter the term, the more the pressure. That's another reason why some people will say, instead of 5 years, I'll go for 10 years. Because if I go for 10 years, maybe I'm supposed to just be paying $200 a month. But if I go for 5 years, I may have to pay like $500 a month. So these are all factors that people consider. But another suggestion is take only the minimum amount that you need. Don't try to live big on a loan. So rather than asking which type of loan is ideal, I will say ask, is this risk worth taking for my future and that of my family? That's the question you want to address, not which type is ideal. No loan is ideal. That's the truth. If you can find someone who is going to pay for your school, for your education, it's something that is welcome. But you don't, there is nobody that is going to take on that for you. That's the reason why we are even considering loan in the first place. So the types of loan that we are promoting to you is the no collateral, no cosigner type. It's flexible. It can be refinanced. You don't need a credit score to actually qualify, and it's only applicable to study in the US and Canada. Other features of the loan is that you don't need to make any upfront payment. The interest rate is fixed and it's between 13 to 15%. You have to pay monthly simple interest during the time of your study, just to make sure that it's kept at a minimum. It builds your credit history as well, which is a plus for you. And you can get this loan approved within a few days if you provide all the documentations required. The repayment term maximum is 10 years, and you start paying 6 months after your graduation. So you get a moratorium of 6 months when you graduate for you to settle down, find a job, and then you start paying. But you should also know that during that 6 months, you are also accruing interest. So I'm going on to the question and answer that I've laid out on, because people are already even asking some of the questions here. So but before I go into that, for Arrows Education, Arrows is not a student loan service provider, so let that be clear to us. We are not a guarantor or co-signer for the student loan and not involved with the loan disbursement or repayment. We don't provide reference to you for the purposes of loan application, because when you are applying, you'll be asked to provide a referee. It has to be your family member or your friend, close people who knows you. So don't ask Arrows for a reference, because we are not going to require you. That loan responsibility is 100% yours. So that's what we just want to know. And the first question that I saw that somebody sent is this for real? And my answer is yes, this is for real. It is true. It's available and you can access it. Am I eligible? Well, are you an international student? Are you going to be studying an approved course? Are you going to study in the USA or Canada? If any of that is a yes, then you are eligible. Which courses are eligible or not eligible? Almost every bachelor program you can imagine, or master's program, PhD are all eligible. The programs that are not eligible are those ones that you can see there: certificate programs or licenses, pilot training, English language studies, boot camps, exam preparation courses. These are not applicable. You can't take the loans for that. What's the process like? Well, it's just a very short process. You make your application, you get the approval, that's a loan letter is issued to you by the service provider, and then there is certification by your institution, then the money is disbursed, and then after your graduation, you start to repay the loan, and you can do that for 10 years. When do I need to pay back the loan? You pay monthly simple interest during your study. So every month while you are studying, you pay a little part of the loan. Very, very small part. It's just part of your interest, so that it keeps your interest low and you don't get choked by the time you graduate. Full repayment starts 6 months after graduation. I've already mentioned that, but you are accruing interest during that moratorium period. When can I start the application? As soon as you have your offer letter. Right now, if you already have an offer letter, today, immediately after the program, you can start. And does ARROS provide help with the process? Yes, we're with you every step of the way. We provide initial free evaluation for you. We get you your offer letter. We help you with the loan application. We also help you with visa processing. So every step of the way till you land where you're going, we are with you. How much is our fee for helping you with the process? Nothing. We're not charging you anything. There is no fee for our loan support service, as long as ARROS is the one processing your admission. So the service fee you pay for admission processing covers your loan service charge as well. So you don't need to pay anything for that service. And if ARROS is not processing your admission and you want us to help you with the processing of your loan, you will have to discuss with the office about that. Do I need to pay anything to start the process? Well, every university, or many universities, let me say, usually will start you an admission processing fee. So you need to have that, and that figure is not fixed. It depends on the institution you want to study in. And then you need to pay ARROS service charge, either in part or in full, for us to support you. And then if there is any credential evaluation fee, for example, if the program you're studying or the university you are going is asking for WES evaluation, then you are going to incur the cost of that as well. And then what documents are required for the application? Number one is your international passport. You need a second photo ID, which means apart from international passport, maybe your driver's license or your name or any other photo ID, you will need that. And then your admission or offer letter is required for the loan application. You need your certificates and transcripts. You need the list of your school expenses. Usually this is listed on your offer letter. So if you are studying in the US, your Form I-20 has these details. If you are studying in Canada, your your acceptance letter also has this information. So it's not something to worry yourself about. You need your resume, or CV. You need a GRE score if it's applicable to the course you want to study. English test scores if it is required from your country or from about the course you want to study. You need your proof of fund. That's your bank statement or your pay stub. That's your pay slips. If you are going to be needing more than the amount of the loan for your study. If you need to present something that is more than the loan that you're getting, then you're going to need to present extra proof of fund. But if your loan covers the cost of your tuition and living expenses, then you don't need those. If you are studying in the US, you don't need those. If you are studying in Canada, you are going to need proof of fund for your for your living expenses. And then you're going to need references who are family and friends who are going to refer you. So do I have to study in a specific country? Yes. This loan is applicable in US and Canada only, but there are about 400 institutions to choose from. So, and then there are loans that are also applicable elsewhere, but that's not what we are talking about today. We are still working on those ones because we want to be sure of what we present to you. There are different kinds of loans that international students can apply for, that you qualify for. But the problem is, if you don't know the details and you step in, loans have ruined some people's lives, and we don't want that for anyone who is coming to us, who we are trying to advise. So we try to look into this very well before we present them to you. How will I be assessed to be qualified for this loan? Your future job prospects is number one basis for your assessment. Will you be able to get a job? Will you be able to get a good job so that you will be able to pay back? Your current academic performance will also play a role, because if at the moment your previous performance shows that you are not a good student, the loan provider will be worried about your ability to perform in the next study, and if you will graduate well enough for you to get a good job. Your course of study will therefore play a very important role also in that, because if you are studying something that will not be applicable in the country where you are going to study after you graduate, there may be a problem. So that's where we can advise you and counsel you on what you should choose. And that's one of the reasons why we started the professional roundtable, so you can see the opportunities that are available and not just apply to study for anything with hard-earned money, and then at the end of it, or you graduate and you don't have opportunity to have a good job. That wouldn't make much sense. So we want you to take advantage of lessons from those who are already there, those who are in practice, and who can guide you on what to do. Can I use the loan as proof of fund? Yes. The loan letter is applicable as proof of fund. When you are applying to the US, usually you need proof of fund at the application stage. So we can get this loan letter for you, so you will be able to make your US application. If you are applying to study in Canada, you're going to need the proof of fund for your visa application. So you can use this loan letter as proof of fund to process your visa. Visa support letter will also be provided by the loan service provider, and it is valid for 6 months. Can I use the loan to study for bachelor's? Yes and no. Yes, because the funds are applicable for 2 years only. So if you are going into the 3rd year of your study for bachelor's program, you can apply for the loan. You can use it for the last 2 years of your study. Or if you are doing a 2-year program, then you can also use the loan. So many of the universities offer, when Dr. Musa was speaking, you remember he was mentioning associate degree. So associate degrees are usually 2-year programs. So if you are going for an associate degree, then you can actually use this loan. And then it's applicable for full master's study, which is usually like 2 years or less. And then it's applicable for PhD programs as well. What are the items I cannot use the loan for? You can't use it for admission processing fee. Please, you should at least try to do this one. You can't use it for visa application fees. You should be able to pay for that by yourself. You can't use it to pay for visa interview cost, to travel to the embassy or wherever. No. You can't use it to buy your flight ticket. You cannot use it to cover other travel costs or your family expenses. It is meant for your tuition and your living expenses when you resume your studies. So all of these costs that are pre-study, you cannot apply it, because you are not going to get this money until you have resumed in your university or your institution. So how much loan can I get? You can get up to a maximum of $100,000, and it is disbursed at a maximum of $50,000 per year for 2 years. So when you get the one for the first year, you are going to have to make a fresh application for the second year. So because it's possible that you may not want to go for loan again the second year, so no need for them to disburse. Can I take a loan for for only part of my tuition? Yes, it's actually the best deal for you. So let's say your tuition is $15,000 and you can raise $5,000 by yourself. That's fantastic. You just take a loan for $10,000 to cover the remaining part. So you don't have to take the full loan. You can also take a loan just to cover your tuition and take care of your living expenses by yourself. So the minimum loan is $2,500 and the maximum is $100,000. You are allowed to fund part of your study by yourself, like I've mentioned. Bank statement for the said fund will be required too when you are making application. So let's say you want to fund the living expense part of your study and your tuition is say $10,000 and your living expense is $8,000. So you are going to get a loan letter to cover your tuition, which is $10,000, but you are going to have to provide bank statements to cover the remaining part, which is your living expense. So your bank statement will have to show the $8,000. Can I use it for my living expense? Definitely. Funds are applicable to tuition and your living expenses in the US, but only applicable to tuition in Canada. That may change. Proof of fund for living expenses is therefore required for Canada, but for the US, you don't need to provide anything. When will I get the money? After visa approval, after arrival at your study destination. So don't think that you are getting the money before you leave your home. No, you're going to land in your university, you will report, and then you're going to get the loan. Can I use it to sponsor my family? No. This loan is meant for you to study and take care of yourself during study, and it is only enough for one person. So if you want to travel with your family, that's a different story, which I'm going to get to in the next slide. So funds are applicable only to student expenses. Family funds have to be provided by you. So what if I want to travel with my family? You will provide a personal proof of fund to cover the cost of your family living expenses, and that's not much actually. Maybe an extra $3,000 per member of family. So if you are just going with your wife, you may just need to provide proof of fund for about $3,000. If you have 3 children and a wife or a husband, you're going to provide about $12,000 proof of fund to cover their own cost. Can both my spouse and I get the loan? Yeah, that's a question somebody asked. I get the loan, my spouse also get the loan. Of course, you are separate individuals actually. So you can both get the loan as long as both of you will be studying. But you need to think ahead about repayment. You need to think ahead about repayment because in my language there is something they say that to eat pork is very, very easy and interesting. But to pay back for that is always the problem. So you think about repayment as you are thinking about enjoying the loan. How much loan will I get? I've already spoken about that. Up to $50,000 per year, up to $25,000 per semester, including the full amount of your tuition, the full amount of your living expense, but a maximum of $100,000 for a lifetime. What if my total cost is about $50,000? You are going to have to provide proof of fund for the shortage. You will not get more than $50,000. So if let's say your cost is $60,000 or $58,000, the extra $8,000 or $10,000 have to be provided by you. So cash or liquid, other liquid assets are acceptable as proof of fund. As cash balances, bank deposits, money market investment, all of those are things that you can use as proof of fund. When do I need to pay back the loan? Like I mentioned, you need to pay monthly simple interest during your study, and full repayment will start 6 months after your graduation. Interest accrues during that 6 months. What's the interest rate? Okay, it's between 13 to 15%. That's an error there. That's 14.75% or 15.01% if you are an undergraduate student. For postgraduate students, it's either 13.98% or 13.72%. Why this difference? There is a discount that is provided that you can access. So if you're an undergraduate student, instead of 15.01%, if you qualify for the discount, you will get 14.75%. And if you are a postgraduate student, the normal would have been 13.98, but it's going to be 13.72 if you qualify for the discount. How do you qualify for the discount? You allow the loan for your account to be debited automatically. So if you put an automatic debit on your account for the repayment, for the monthly repayment, you are going to get this percentage discount. But if you want to be paying by yourself at the end of the month, then you are not going to get it. So you are going to get the second one. How much will I be paying back monthly? Yeah. So the monthly payback is what is known as the weighted monthly installment EMI. which is calculated based on the principal value of the loan, the monthly interest rate, and the number of months of installment that you're going to do. So I would like you to pay attention to the screen now. For a postgraduate student, if you are paying the regular interest rate, let's say you are taking a loan of $10,000, an extra $500 will be charged as origination fee, which means if your loan is $20,000, your origination fee will be $1,000. So all of this goes together as your loan. During study, you are going to start paying 45 days after disbursement. So monthly, you're going to be paying a little amount, which you can see down there. So the first 30 months, that's 2 years of study and 6 months moratorium period, you're going to be paying back $113.66. It's not much. So you can pay that back from the earning you are going to be making when you work as a student. So you remember the work and study program? Yeah, when you are working and studying, you are going to be able to pay back this little amount over the 30 months of your study and the moratorium period. When you graduate, and if you are going for the 10-year term, that's 120 months, you're going to pay back $156.71 every month. So you see, it's doable, right? But that's $10,000. So if you need more than $10,000, you can just do a little bit of arithmetic and you have an idea of what that will look like. This is for postgraduate students with regular rate. If you are postgraduate student with discounted rate, still the same $10,000 with 5% origination fee. During the after 45 days of disbursement, when you start paying, you're going to be paying back $111.47. That will be for the first 30 months. Then after graduation, when you start paying for the 10 years, you pay $155.17. When you compare with this, you see, it's not worth it, right? $156.71, $155.17. That's just $1 gain. So the decision is yours. If you are an undergraduate student, the same applies. You pay $122.41 for 30 months during the study and the moratorium period, and after graduation you start to pay $162.97. And if you are on the discounted rate, it will be $161.39 after graduation and $120.22 during your study. So none of them is undoable, actually. So the summary of the payment for undergraduate or postgraduate is for a principal of $10,000, payment during study is maximum $150, and payment after study maximum $160. It's doable. Now, how many years of repayment is the best thing is the next question that I would like to address. So I want you to take a look at this. For a loan term of $50,000, that's what I've done here. So if you take a loan of $50,000 to cover both your living expenses and your tuition, maybe you are attending one of the top institutions, an Ivy League university, or your course is very expensive. Now you have taken a loan of $50,000. If you pay back in 1 year, or if you want to pay back within 1 year or 12 months, you're going to be paying $5,375.7 every month. I don't know how much you are earning. That will help you to do that. But along the lifetime of the loan, that is within that 1 year, you would have paid $64,508.40. That means you have paid an interest of $14,508. Now, if you extend your payment time to 2 years, that's 24 months, you will pay a total of $68,969.76, which means you would have paid an interest of about $19,000. Now extend it to 5 years, you will only be paying $1,185, and the lifetime you would have paid $71,000, which means you have paid an interest of $21,000. Now, if you take it for 10 years, you will only be paying $806 per month. But over the lifetime of the loan, you would have paid $96,762, which means you have paid almost double of the amount you receive, because you would have paid an interest of $47,000 on a loan of $50,000. But of course, that's 10 years. So you won't feel it anyway. So that just for you to understand what it looks like, you have an idea, you can always do the calculation by yourself. So what I'm going to say here is what I've said before. Reduce the amount of loan that you will take. Take only the minimum that you need, and try to not live big on a loan. It's not even wise. So you want to live as frugal as possible and minimize the amount of loan that you take. Just make sure that whatever is listed as your living expense and tuition is what you go for, and raise maybe a little amount from your own end too, to take care of this part. So can I still work and study if I take the loan? Yes, that's actually the reason why you will be able to pay back the amount that you're supposed to be paying back over the 30 months, the initial 30 months during your study and the moratorium period. So yes, you will still be able to work for 20 hours during sessions and work full time, that's 40 hours during breaks, and you can still carry on any other income generation activity that you are involved in, as long as they don't interfere with your studies. Don't forget, you need to pass well and get a good job for you to be able to pay back. So you can't afford to mess around with your studies and not do well in your study. Yes, so everything we are talking about is US dollars, American dollars, not Canadian dollars, not any local currency, American dollars. So what if I get a scholarship after applying for the loan? Yes, that's possible. As long as the loan has not been disbursed, I don't think you have any problem. But if it has been disbursed, you can't return it. So your scholarship will only have to apply the next semester. And then you need to report to your finance department if you are confused about anything. Can I pay back the loan earlier? Definitely. You are actually encouraged to pay back earlier. From what you can see from the table that I presented to you, the earlier you pay back, the less you pay. So you can pay back earlier. There are no charges, no fine for paying back early. What if I get a scholarship after? I think we have already addressed that. So what if I decide to run away after my study? I think that's the last question that I'm going to be addressing before I leave the floor open. Well, I don't have an answer for you if that's what you are thinking. And I think you're going to be running for a very long time. You're going to be running for a lifetime if you think this is an option for you. But I know there are people who think this way. And then I'm imagining, after you have taken this huge loan, you have studied, and you don't even want to use it, then what's the point? What's the point? Why think about running away? But if running away is the option for you, well, all the best in the run. But I'm sure you're going to run for a very, very long time. So, thank you very much. AROS is always there for you, and you can start as soon as you're ready. Just chat with the office number, and somebody will be there to attend to you